Hello and welcome to SureWinner.tv. I'm Chris Timoney.
And I'm Courtney. What a week of action we've had for you. So let's not waste any time. March Madness is upon us, and with the regular season now in the books, conference tournaments are in full swing. In fact, a few champions have already been crowned, which means a few tickets to the big dance have already been punched.
That's right, Courtney. The field of 65 is slowly starting to fill up as Belmont, Winthrop, Drake, Austin, PA, and of course, the Cornell Big Red from the Ivy League, they've all earned admission to the tourney. But who will fill out the dance cards? Obviously, teams like UNC, Duke, UCLA, Kansas, and Georgetown, big dogs like that, they'll make it. But what about the infamous bubble teams?
And does Kentucky have what it takes, or did getting shellacked by Vanderbilt ruin their chances? And what about cats of a different color? Kansas State was once a darling of the Big 12, but are now on the outside looking in. The Wildcats finished third in the Big 12, but lost 4 straight down the stretch. Does this mean they'll have to win the conference tournament to make the big dance?
Courtney, all those questions will be answered in due time. But before the brackets can be made, those conference tournaments have to be played. And we here at SureWinner.tv are all over the action. And yes, at this time of year, Courtney, the action is scorching hot.
That's right, Chris. The action is always scorching out here. So how about, with so many conference tournaments to be played, we've wrangled in all of our experts to break them down. So let's start with the big dogs, and for that, it means getting Paul's inside word. Paul's been dominating college hoops since November, and now it's his time to shine.
Guys! Forget Christmas. This is the most wonderful time of the year. I haven't slept in days, but sleeping for the NAT, that's where some teams will end up if they're not careful. A few of those teams are in the ACC, where tournament play gets underway in Charlotte. I believe we just got a look at the ACC final this past weekend.
Courtney, the ACC provides great action, especially this time of year. But I'm a Big East guy. I mean, it's the Big East that sparked my interest in college hoops dating way back to the early 80s.
Long time ago.
Very long time. I don't even think you were born. The Patrick Ewing Hoyas, Chris Mullin and Mark Jackson at St. John's, Raleigh Massimino's Nova team, you remember him, with Ed Pinckney, former Celtic. And you can never forget all the winning that Jim Boeheim's turned out up at Syracuse. Well, this year's no different. And this week, the action will be maddening at New York's Madison Square Garden. And thankfully for Hoops fans, that involves no Knickerbockers.
Yeah, that's right. And with the Big East tournament going down in an NBA arena, there's only one guy to turn to. So here's Fiori with the Big East tourney breakdown.
NBA's my game, but I more than anybody know this is NCAA time. Much like the ACC, the Big East is a monster conference that can turn out a national champion every year. Well, this year is no different. And when you talk about 07-08 edition of the Big East, you have to start with the Hoyas. Coach JT3 has done a superb job with his Hoyas this year.
Courtney, the best stories of the big dance always come from the smaller schools, and those smaller schools play in those smaller conferences.
Yeah, but Chris, those small schools always seem to make the biggest noise in March.
Courtney, they always do. And they always look to make dreams come true this week during championship week. So to cover all that smaller type of action, we brought our own little guy, Spaz, off the ice and onto the hardwood.
While everyone prognosticates about teams like Duke, Louisville, and UCLA, it's the little guy that gets lost in the mix. After all, year in and year out, who makes the biggest noise in the big dance? It's teams like Valpo, Cretin, George Mason, Richmond. It's teams like that that everybody roots for, and they always deliver. They might not win the national championship, but they win the hearts of millions.
Chris, this week is sure to be an amazing one, and there's only one place to turn to for all the action, SureWinner.tv. We've got the latest lines on the latest games, and the action is constant. Guaranteed picks are up every single day at noon, and more keep coming throughout the day. SureWinner.tv is the only place to go for the madness of March. We'll be working ourselves to the bone to cover all the conference championships, and of course, you can't forget SureWinner.tv's March Madness Bracket Bonanza, where your you out there are going to have the chance to win $25,000.
Oh, yeah. And now this week on the show, we'll be zeroed in on the NCAA action. But that doesn't mean there's not other sports action going on at showrunner.tv. We still got the NBA and the NHL covered, so just go to showrunner.tv and check out all the action from all around the sports world.
Well,
what a week.
It really is. Well, that about does it for us here at showrunner.tv. I'm Courtney Kennahan.
And I'm Chris Timoney. Enjoy those conference tournaments, and of course, enjoy all